Hello everyone and welcome to today's session. And today we'll be discussing the theory related to the chapter biological classification. This is the part 3 of the lecture. Before starting this lecture, I just want to give you one information that the images, text and other materials used in our presentations are for education purposes only. We respect the intellectual property rights of the original creators and owners. If you are the owner and have any concerns or issues, please contact us at sathee@itk.ac.in and we shall remove the content immediately. Please note that parts of the content may have been generated using the generative AI, which is experimental. So what we'll discuss in today's lecture, what are the objective of today's lecture, what we will understand in today's lecture. So first we'll talk about the characteristics of the fungi. What are the general characteristics of the fungi, and we'll also talk about the classification of the fungi. We'll talk about the fungal cell structure. Then we'll talk about the mode of reproduction in the fungus, whether they reproduce by sexual or asexual methods. We'll talk about some common fungi, their role in ecosystem. Okay, so a lot of fungi, they are decomposers. Some of them are parasitic also. So they play a very important role in the ecosystem because they help in the decomposition of the organic matter and they help in the nutrient cycling. These are the objectives of today's lecture. Okay, so we'll talk about kingdom fungi, and within kingdom fungi we'll talk about Phycomycetes, Ascomycetes, Basidiomycetes and Deuteromycetes. So these all phylums, they are included under the kingdom fungi. Let's talk about the kingdom fungi. Now, fungi constitute a unique kingdom of heterotrophic organisms. So what is the mode of nutrition in the members of kingdom fungi? So these fungi, they are heterotrophic organisms. So within heterotrophic mode of nutrition, there are two categories: saprotrophic and parasitic. Mostly the fungus, they are saprophytes. Means they feed on dead and decaying organic matter. They absorb the nutrients from the dead and decaying organic matter. So basically what they do, they release the digestive enzymes which decompose the organic matter, and then they absorb the nutrients from this decomposing organic matter. Then fungi can be parasitic also. So parasitic or parasites, these are also included under the heterotrophic mode of nutrition. So parasitic fungus, they can cause diseases, means they are pathogenic. Pathogenic is an organism, or pathogen is an organism which can cause disease, which has ability to cause disease. The fungi, they are unique, okay, and the mode of reproduction, mode of nutrition is heterotrophic mode of nutrition, means they are dependent on others or they obtain nutrients from other organisms. They show great diversity in morphology and the habitat. So morphology means external features. So they show diversity in the external features, their morphology, as well as their habitat. Okay, habitat is a place where they are living, the environment where they are living. Now you must have seen fungi on moist bread and rotten fruits. So fungus, what are the requirements for the growth of the fungus? So they require moist environment, they require moisture, they require optimum temperature. So the fungus can grow in moist bread. So bread, you can see bread is quite moist. Clear? The fungus which grows on bread is known as rhizopus. This is the bread mode. And fungus can also grow on rotten fruits, it is saying. Means they are feeding on rotten material, decaying organic matter. The common mushroom you eat and toadstools are also fungi. So mushrooms and toadstools. Some of the mushrooms, they are edible. So these also come under the kingdom fungi. White spots seen on mustard leaves are due to parasitic fungus. So some of the fungus can also be parasitic. They can harm other organisms. So white spot on mustard leaf, they are due to the infection, or they are due to the presence of the fungus Albugo candida. So these fungus, they cause loss of the productivity. They cause loss of the yield. Now some unicellular fungi, for example yeast, are used to make bread and beer. So yeast, you should remember, scientific name of yeast is Saccharomyces cerevisiae. This yeast is an exception in the kingdom fungi. How it is exception? Because yeast is a unicellular fungi. Mostly the fungi, they are multicellular. But yeast is unicellular fungi. And it is used to make bread and beer. So why it is used for making bread and beer? So in yeast, alcoholic fermentation occurs. Okay, first of all, what is fermentation? Fermentation means it is a type of anaerobic respiration, means no oxygen is involved here. Respiration can be aerobic and anaerobic. Anaerobic respiration is also known as fermentation. So in yeast, alcoholic fermentation occurs. And what is produced during alcoholic fermentation? Alcohol is produced, ethanol is produced, and carbon dioxide is also produced. So there is a rise in the dough during bread making. This rise in the dough is due to the release of the carbon dioxide. And beer is an alcohol. So this alcohol is being produced by the yeast during alcoholic fermentation. Other fungi cause disease in plants and animals. Wheat rust causing Puccinia is an important example. So these fungus cause disease in plants also, in animals also, in humans also. Again, there is one more example. Puccinia, this is a parasitic fungus. This causes wheat rust. Now, some other sources of antibiotics, for example, penicillium. So penicillium is a fungus. And penicillin is derived from penicillium. Penicillin is an antibiotic. It was discovered by Alexander Fleming. Now, fungi are cosmopolitan, means they are present everywhere and occur in air, water, soil, and on animals and plants. So fungus exist everywhere. They are cosmopolitan. They can they can survive in various habitats. Clear? So that's why they are said to be cosmopolitan. They prefer to go in warm and humid places. So they can grow in warm and humid places. They require humidity and warm condition. Have you ever wondered why you keep food in the refrigerator? So in refrigerator, the temperature is very low. Okay. It is around 4 degrees Celsius in your refrigerator. So at this temperature, the fungus cannot grow. The bacteria cannot grow. Clear? So that's why you keep your food in the refrigerator. It also increases the shelf life of the food. And the bacteria, the fungus, they cannot grow at this temperature because this is not the optimum temperature. So yes, it is to prevent food from going bad due to bacterial or the fungal infections. Now, with the exception of yeast, which are unicellular, fungi are usually filamentous. So yeast is an exception. Yeast is unicellular. Rest of the fungi, they are multicellular. Now, their bodies consist of long, slender, thread-like structure called hyphae. So let's talk about the body of the fungus. So their body is made up of hyphae. These hyphae, they are long and slender thread-like structures. And the network of the hyphae, these are known as mycelium. Network of hyphae, this is known as mycelium. Some hyphae are continuous tubes filled with multinucleated cytoplasm. And these are known as cenocytic hyphae. So some of the hyphae, they are cenocytic. Cenocytic means there are multiple nucleus, there are many nucleus present within a same cell or same hypha. So what happens here? Nuclear division is taking place. But nuclear division is not followed by cell wall formation. So that's why there are many nucleus which are present in a single hyphae. That's why it is saying some hypha are continuous tubes filled with multinucleated cytoplasm. If this is a hypha, there will be multiple nucleus present in the cytoplasm. So there is a common cytoplasm, and in this common cytoplasm, all the nucleus are present. This is known as cenocytic hypha. Now others have septate or crosswalls in their hyphae. So some of the hyphae, they are septate. Means they have a septa in between. So there is a nucleus, okay, and they have a septa or crosswalls in their hyphae. This is a septate hyphae. They have their own separate nucleus, one nucleus present in this one, you can say, this region. And these are the septa, okay. The cell walls of fungi are composed of chitin and polysaccharides. This is again a unique feature of fungus. The cell wall consists of chitin as well as some polysaccharides. Now, most fungi are heterotrophic and absorb soluble organic matter from dead substrate and hence are called saprophyte. So most of the fungi, they are saprophytes. They absorb the nutrients from the decomposing organic matter. Now, those that depend on living plants and animals are parasitic. Some of the fungi, they are also parasitic. And they obtain nutrients from living plants and animals. So these are the host. These living plants and animals, the cells of these living plants and animals, they are the host of this parasitic fungus. So in parasitic interaction, what happens? One of the partner is benefited and there is a harm or loss to the another partner. Here, there is a loss to the host. Host gradually it become weakened as the parasite is absorbing nutrients from the host. Some of the fungi, they can also live as symbionts. Means in symbiosis. In symbiosis, what happens? Symbiotic relationship. Both the interacting partners, both of them are benefited. Okay. One of the example is lichens. In lichens, what happens? It is an association between the algae and the fungus. The algal partner is known as a phycobiont and the fungal partner is known as the mycobiont. Yeah, so what happens in lichens? The algae can photosynthesize and it provides sugars to the fungi, and fungi, it provides minerals and water. It helps the algae to absorb minerals and the water, which are very important for carrying out photosynthesis. Now, fungi can also form association with the roots of the higher plants, which is known as mycorrhiza. So, myco means fungus, rhiza means roots. This is also a symbiotic association. Okay, the plant provides sugars to the fungus, food to the fungus, and fungus helps in the absorption of nutrients and water by the plants. Let's talk about the reproduction. Reproduction in fungi can take place by vegetative means, okay, which can be by fragmentation, fission, and budding. In fragmentation, what happens? Each fragment can give rise to a new hypha. Okay. Second one is fission. So fission can be seen in yeast, where one cell divides into two, one parent cell divided into two daughter cells. Okay, and then budding also can be seen in yeast. So a bud develops from the parent cell, and this bud will grow. Okay, and this will finally detach from the parent body, and it will form a separate individual. Asexual reproduction is by spores called conidia or sporangiospores or zoospores, and sexual reproduction is by oospores, ascospores, and basidiospores. So there are two kinds of spore: asexual spores and sexual spores. So conidia or sporangiospores or zoospores, these are asexual spores, while oospores, ascospores, and basidiospores, these are sexual spores, means produced during the sexual reproduction. The various spores are produced in distinct structure called the fruiting bodies. So these spores are produced in structures called as fruiting bodies. We'll talk about these fruiting bodies in our upcoming slides. Let's talk about the sexual cycle of the fungus. So this is the general sexual cycle. Sexual cycle involves the following three steps. So let's see what are these three steps. Okay, first is the fusion of the protoplasm between two motile or non-motile gametes called as the plasmogamy. Okay. So first there is the fusion of the protoplasm. This fusion of the protoplasm, this is known as the plasmogamy. Clear? Or you can also say the two compatible hyphae of opposite type, their protoplasm fuse with each other. Clear? So this is plasmogamy. After plasmogamy, what happens? There is a fusion of the two nuclei, which is known as karyogamy. So first there is the fusion of the protoplasm, then second step is the fusion of the nucleus, which is known as karyogamy. Okay, then after karyogamy, what happens? Meiosis in zygote takes place, resulting in the haploid spores. So after the fusion of the nucleus, what will happen? These nuclei were haploid. Okay. So now zygote will be 2n. It is diploid. It has two sets of chromosome. So meiosis occurs in this zygote, producing haploid spores. Haploid spores means they will be n, means they will have one set of chromosome only. Okay, so these are the three basic steps: plasmogamy, karyogamy, and this meiosis. Meiosis, which results in the formation of the haploid spores. Now this haploid spore can again give rise to the mycelia, which will be haploid. Now when the fungus reproduces sexually, two haploid hyphae of compatible mating type come together and fuse. Okay, so this is very important. During sexual reproduction, what happens? Two haploid hyphae, means N. Hypha are haploid. Two haploid hyphae, compatible mating types, they come together and they fuse. So in fungus, we don't have this distinction between the sex, male and the female. Male and the female we are using in case of animals. Okay, clear? Or in the case of plants also we use. But fungus do not have separate sexes. So we use mating types in case of fungus. Clear? So one will be positive, one will be negative. So we use positive and negative in case of fungus, not male and female. So two hypha, one will be positive, another one will be negative. So these two come together and they fuse, means plasmogamy occurs. Now after plasmogamy, karyogamy will occur. So what happens now? In some fungus, the fusion of the two haploid cells immediately result in diploid cell. Okay, so in some fungus, what happens? These two hypha, they are mating together with each other. They have their own nucleus, which will be haploid. sometimes immediately a diploid cell is formed, 2N will be formed. But in some cases, these two nuclei, they do not fuse with each other and a dikaryon is formed. So N plus N condition is formed, N plus N. This N plus N is dikaryon. Okay, this will ultimately, they will fuse together. These nuclei will fuse together. But this fusion occurs after some time. In some fungus, this fusion occurs immediately. But in some fungus, N plus N condition is formed. And then they fuse a little bit later to form again 2N cell. However, in some other fungi such as Ascomycetes and Basiomycetes, remember this, in Ascomycetes and Basiomycetes, dikaryon is formed. An intervening dikaryotic stage means N plus N, that is 2 nuclei per cell, occurs. Now, such a condition is called dikaryon and the phase is called dikaryophase of the fungus. So in the members of Ascomycetes and Basidiomycetes, dikaryon is formed, means N plus N is formed. Okay, or you can say dikaryophase is observed in Ascomycetes and Basidiomycetes. Later, the parental nuclei, they will ultimately they will fuse and the cells will become diploid, means 2N. Now the fungi, they form the fruiting bodies in which reduction division occurs, leading to the formation of haploid spores. Okay, now karyogamy has occurred. After karyogamy, the diploid cell is formed, and in this diploid cell, meiosis will occur, leading to the formation of the haploid spores, which can give rise to the hypha or the mycelia. Okay, so these spores are haploid because they are produced by meiosis. Meiosis is also known as reductional division. In meiosis, what happens? There is a reduction in the number of the chromosome. The chromosome number reduced to half. Okay, clear? Now, the morphology of the mycelium, mode of spore formation, and the fruiting bodies form the basis for the division of the kingdom into various classes. Now, we'll talk about various classes now. Clear? So, these classes, these fungus has been placed into various classes on the basis of the morphology of the mycelia, the mode of spore formation, and the fruiting bodies which are formed. So let's study these various classes. Okay, the first class is Phycomycetes. Then we'll talk about Ascomycetes, Basidiomycetes, and Deuteromycetes. Now, the member of Phycomycetes are found in aquatic habitats, and they are found on decaying wood, in moist and damp places, or as obligate parasite on the plants. Obligate means mandatory. They will always be parasitic. They are obligatory. They are obligate parasites. Means they are dependent on others for nutrients. Now the mycelium is aseptate and cenocytic. Remember this? Cenocytic mycelia is observed in case of Phycomycetes. Now the asexual reproduction takes place by zoospores, which are motile, and aplanospores, which are non-motile. These spores are endogenously produced in sporangium. So sporangium is a structure in which spores are produced. They are produced endogenously, means within the sporangium. Now a zygospore is formed by the fusion of the two gametes. Again, zygospore, you can see zygospore is formed in the case of Phycomycetes, or more specifically Zygomycetes. Clear? So zygospore is formed. So zygospore will be diploid structure. Zygospore is formed by the fusion of the two gametes here. These gametes are similar in morphology or dissimilar. So gametes which are fusing together, when they are similar in shape and size, they are known as isogamous. Or when they are dissimilar in shape and size, they are known as anisogamous or oogamous. In oogamous, what happens actually? there is one large female egg and there is a one smaller male egg which is motile. So gametes, if they are similar in shape and size, it is known as isogamous. If they are dissimilar in shape and size, it is known as anisogamous. Some common examples are mucor, rhizopus, which is known as the bread mold, and albigo candida, which causes the white spots on the mustard leaf. So this is the image showing you the mucor, which is a fungus. You can see the mycelia here. Let's talk about the ascomycetes. So they are commonly known as sac fungi. You should remember this because in the ascomycetes, a sac-like ascus is formed, and within the ascus, ascospores are produced. So they are commonly known as sac fungi. The ascomycetes are mostly multicellular. For example, penicillium, or rarely unicellular. For example, yeast. So yeast belongs to ascomycetes. Yeast is unicellular. Rest of the members are multicellular. They are saprophytic. They are decomposers. They can be parasitic also, or coprophilous. Coprophilous means growing on the dung, animal dung. Mycelium is branched and septate. Remember this. In Phycomycetes, it was cenocytic and aseptate. Here, the mycelium is branched and septate, means there will be a septa or cross walls in the hypha. Asexual spores are conidia produced exogenously on the special mycelium called the conidiospores. So here asexual reproduction takes place by the conidia, and these conidia, this is the conidia, which is born on the conidiophore. This is the conidiophore, written in short form. Conidiophore is a stalk actually. Okay, this is a stalk. Conidiophore is a stalk on which the conidia is born, and they are born exogenously. Conidia are asexual spores. A conidia on germination will produce mycelium. Now, sexual spores are called ascospores, which are produced endogenously in sac-like asci. Singular is ascus. So these asci, they are sac-like. That's why the ascomycetes are known as sac fungus. So these ascospores, they are produced endogenously, means within this ascus. And remember that 8 ascospores are produced. Okay. So these 8 ascospores are produced due to meiosis. And after meiosis, what happens? One mitosis division takes place. Okay. Clear? So this was the initial diploid cell here, which was formed after the fusion of the 2 nuclei. In this meiosis 1 will occur. After meiosis 1, 2 cells will be formed. And then meiosis 2 will occur. Okay, so each cell will give rise to 2 here. So this is meiosis 1, meiosis 2. And then mitosis will take place in each cell, leading to the formation of 8 ascospores. 8 ascospores are formed, which will be haploid. So these asci are arranged in different type of fruiting bodies called ascoscarp. So these ascus, they are arranged in, or they are present in the fruiting bodies called as the ascoscarp. This ascocarp bears the ascus, and within the ascus, ascospores are produced, which are sexual spores. Some examples are Aspergillus, claviceps, and Neurospora. Neurospora is used extensively in biochemical and genetic work, especially Neurospora crassa. This is the model organism. Like Drosophila is the model organism for animal, Neurospora crassa, this is the model organism, and it is used for the study of the biochemical and the genetic work. So Neurospora can be easily grown. It has a very short life cycle. It produces large number of progeny. That's why Neurospora is being used. Neurospora is also, although it is a fungus, it is also known as the model organism in case of plants. It is known as the Drosophila of the plant kingdom. Many members like morels and truffles are edible and are considered delicacies. So these also are included under kingdom in their class Ascomycetes. So this is Aspergillus, you can see. Okay, this is a spore you can see here in case of the Aspergillus. We have seen the conidia are also formed here, which are present on the conidiophores. Let's talk about the basidiomycetes. So basidiomycetes, they are known as the club fungi because here a club-shaped basidium is formed, within which basidiospores are produced. The commonly known forms of basidiomycetes are mushrooms, bracket fungi, and puffballs. So these are all included under the basidiomycetes. Mushrooms are also included under basidiomycetes, bracket fungi, as well as the puffballs. So what are these puffballs? These puffballs have a ball-like fruiting body. Okay, they have ball-like fruiting body. Okay, and these fruiting body, upon a certain impact or when you touch it, this fruiting body release cloud of dust-like spores. Okay, it's a release cloud of dust-like spores. Okay, these are known as the puffballs. Okay, now they grow in soil, on logs and tree stumps, and in living plant bodies as parasite, for example, rust and the smut. So these rust fungi, this smut, these fungi which causes this smut, these all belong to the basidiomycetes. The mycelium is branched and septate. The asexual spores are generally not found. Remember this. Asexual spores are not found in basidiomycetes. But vegetative reproduction by fragmentation is common. The sex organs are absent again. Remember, the sex organs are absent, but plasmogamy is brought about by fusion of two vegetative or somatic cells of different strains or the genotype. Clear? Plasmogamy is brought about by how? Plasmogamy is brought about by fusion of two vegetative or somatic cells. Vegetative cells are also known as somatic cells, and these somatic cells are of different strains. So you can say positive and negative. Now the resultant structure is dikaryotic. Again, dikaryon is formed in basidiomycetes also. Means N plus N conditions. Two nucleus present within a single cell, which ultimately give rise to the basidium. Basidium is club shaped. That's why basidiomycetes, they are known as the club fungi. Within basidium, basidiospores will be produced. So after plasmogamy, karyogamy occurs and a diploid cell will be formed, which you can call zygote. Meiosis will occur in that diploid cell, and after meiosis, 4 basidiospores are produced within the basidium. Okay, remember here 4 basidiospores are produced. In 8 ascospores are produced, but 4 basidiospores are produced because basidiospores are only produced by meiosis. There is no mitosis after meiosis. Okay, I've told you when ascospores were produced, meiosis 1 occurs, meiosis 2 occurs, and after that mitosis also occurs. But here there is no mitosis. Only meiosis 1 and meiosis 2 occurs. So meiosis has 2 phases, meiosis 1 and meiosis 2. After meiosis 2, 4 cells are formed. But here there is no, it is not followed by mitosis here. So that's why only 4 basidiospores are produced. Now basidiospores are exogenous produced on the basidium. So this is again a very important point. These basidiospores, which are 4 in number, they are exogenous produced on the basidium. So they are produced on a stalk. Okay, this is the basidiospore. They are produced on a stalk, and this stalk is known as sterigma. Okay, this is known as sterigma, S-T-E-R-I-G-M-A. This is sterigma. And this is the basidiospores. So what happens? Meiosis occurs in this diploid cell, which leads to the formation of 4 basidiospores. These basidiospores enter into the, you can say, these sterigma, which are produced on the basidium. And when they enter the sterigma, these nucleus, they will develop a cell wall around them. And then this is how they form the basidiospores. Now basidia are arranged in fruiting bodies called basidiocarps. So basidia are present within the fruiting bodies. So they are arranged in fruiting bodies called basidiocarps. So in case of basidiomycetes, basidiocarps are produced. Okay. Now some common members are agaricus, which is mushroom, stylago, which is smut, and puccinia, which is known as the rust fungus. So these are Astilago and Puccinia. They are parasitic fungus. So this is an image showing you the agaricus. You can see it is a mushroom. The spores are present here in this area. In this area, the spores are present. Okay. So spores are present here. So you can collect the spores from here and then you can grow another fungus from these spores. Let's talk about the Deuteromycetes. Deuteromycetes is also known as fungi imperfecta. So this is commonly known as imperfect fungi because only the asexual or vegetative phase of these fungi are known. So here only the asexual or the vegetative phase is known and no sexual phase is known. That's why this is known as fungi imperfecta or imperfect fungi. When the sexual forms of these fungi were discovered, they were moved into classes they rightly belong to. So whenever the sexual phase is being discovered, so now the scientists, they are still studying the fungus which belongs to the Deuteromycetes. Now we have better techniques, we have better microscope. So we are studying them, and as soon as the sexual phase is discovered, we shift the fungus here to another class, okay, such as Ascomycetes or Basidiomycetes. Okay. Now it is also possible that the asexual and the vegetative stage has been given one name and placed under Deuteromycetes, and the sexual stage another and placed under another class. So you can see this is also possible. A fungus, okay, in which only the asexual phase or vegetative phase is discovered. This is kept under the Deuteromycetes, and the same fungus in which sexual stage is discovered, this is placed under another class, maybe Ascomycetes or Basidiomycetes. Clear? So same fungus can be given two names, you can see. Okay, it is also possible the asexual vegetative stage has been given one name and it is placed under Deuteromycetes, and the sexual stage of the same fungus with some another name can be placed under another class. Okay, now later when the linkages were established, the fungi were correctly identified and moved out of the Deuteromycetes. So whenever the similarities or any other linkage with the another fungus they are discovered, or when the sexual phase is discovered, okay, or when the correct identification of the fungus is done, then they are placed in another class, okay, Ascomycetes or Basidiomycetes, and they are moved out of the Deuteromycetes. Okay, so again, this is one perfect means the sexual stage of the members of Deuteromycetes were discovered. They were then often moved to Ascomycetes or Basidiomycetes. Now, the Deuteromycetes reproduce only by asexual spores known as the conidia. So, in Deuteromycetes, the members of Deuteromycetes, in them, sexual phase is not discovered. So, we can say they reproduce only by the asexual spores known as the conidia. The mycelium here is septate and branched. Some members are saprophytes also. Some can be parasitic also. While a large number of them are decomposers of litter and help in the mineral cycling. So fungi, they are decomposers, and by decomposing, they help in the nutrient cycling. Okay. So these nutrients, they again enter the soil. So they are decomposed by the fungus and the bacteria, and the mineralization of these nutrients occurs. By mineralization, they return back to the soil, and then from the soil, the plants can again absorb them and use for their growth and development. So these fungus, they are very important part of the ecosystem because they are involved in nutrient cycling. Some common examples are Alternaria, Coleotrichum, and Trichoderma. Trichoderma is also a beneficial fungus. It is used as a biofertilizers to enhance the crop productivity. Now let's summarize the entire kingdom fungi here. Fungi, they are eukaryotic organisms. They are heterotrophic, and within heterotrophic, they can be saprophytes or parasitic. They typically obtain nutrients by absorbing the organic matter through their cell walls. So they absorb the organic matter. So they decompose the organic matter by releasing digestive enzyme, and then they absorb the organic matter. Now they can be unicellular like yeast, and usually they are multicellular like mushrooms, and they reproduce through spores. Okay, both sexually and asexually. So conidia, they are asexual spores. Zoospore, they are asexual spores. Ascanospores, they are asexual spores. And ascospores, basidiospores, these are sexual spores. Now, fungi play crucial ecological roles as decomposers. They help in the nutrient cycling. They act as symbionts, forming relationship with mycorrhiza. Okay, clear. Then they also form a symbiotic association known as lichens, and some are parasites also. Now, their body structure consists of thread-like hyphae, and network of hyphae is known as mycelium. And they have cell walls, which is made up of chitin. This is a unique feature of fungus. Fungi extensively used in food production also, such as yeast. Yeast is known as the baker's yeast. It is used in bread making. It is used in making cheese. So you can see during alcoholic fermentation, what happens? Carbon dioxide is produced. This carbon dioxide helps in the production of these holes in the cheese. Rise of dough is also due to release of carbon dioxide during the alcoholic fermentation by the yeast. It is used to produce alcoholic beverages. Then a lot of antibiotics have been obtained from the fungus like penicillin, and they are also used in biotechnologies. So in yeast, insulin is being produced, or hepatitis B vaccine is being produced. Some are pathogenic. They cause disease in plants as well as animals and in humans as well. Okay, so thank you very much for listening. So we have discussed the theory. Now we'll discuss the DPP for this kingdom fungi. Okay, let's start with the DPP now. Let's start with the question here. Which of the following is the characteristic feature of Phycomycetes? They are asking about the characteristic features of the Phycomycetes, unique features of the Phycomycetes. What is the first option? Septate and sinocytic mycelium. Do they have septate and sinocytic mycelium? What is sinocytic mycelium? Means there are many nucleus present in a single hyphae or a single cell, or many nucleus are present. Okay, means they are sharing the same cytoplasm. Many nucleus are present within the cytoplasm. They share the cytoplasm. They are present within the common cytoplasm. Next is asexual reproduction by conidia. Third is formation of zygospores by isogamous and nicogamous. Third is presence of dikaryophase in their life cycle. So what will be the correct answer? Here the correct answer will be option number A. The hyphae is septate. Okay, they have a sinocytic mycelium. Okay, they have sinocytic mycelium. This is the correct answer. Clear? And next is, in which class of fungi is the dikaryophase observed? Okay, dikaryophase. What is dikaryophase? Means two haploid nucleus, they are present within a single cell. N+N condition. So in some fungi, the two nucleus, they do not fuse immediately to form the diploid cell or the zygote, you can say. So this karyogamy doesn't occur immediately, leading to the formation of dikaryon. And this phase is known as dikaryophase. So this phase is observed in Phycomycetes and Deuteromycetes, Ascomycetes, Basidiomycetes, Deuteromycetes, and Ascomycetes, and D is all of the above. What will be the correct answer here? Okay, the correct answer will be Ascomycetes and Basidiomycetes. In this class, dikaryophase is observed. Next question, which fungi are known for forming lichens through a symbiotic association with the algae? So they are talking about the symbiotic association. So lichen is a symbiotic association between algae and the fungi. So fungus can form symbiotic associations such as lichens. They can also form symbiotic association like mycorrhiza. So here myco means fungus and rhiza means roots. So in mycorrhiza, what happens? The fungus is in symbiotic association with the roots of the plants. Clear? So this fungus provides nutrients and minerals. Okay, it helps in the absorption of nutrients and minerals as well as water by the roots of the plant. So it helps the plant to absorb nutrients, water, and the plant provides sugars to the fungus. And in lichens, what happens? It is association between algae and the fungi. Again, algae provides sugars to the fungi and fungi provide shelter and also provide nutrients to the lichens. So which fungi are known for forming lichens through a symbiotic association with algae? So what will be the answer here? Answer will be option number B, Ascomycetes. Now next question, Neurospora used extensively in biochemical genetic studies belongs to which class of fungi? Neurospora belongs to which class of fungi? Okay, options are Phycomycetes, Ascomycetes, Basidiomycetes and Deuteromycetes. What would be the correct answer here? Okay, the correct answer here will be Ascomycetes. Neurospora belongs to the class Ascomycetes. Next question, which of the following is not a feature of Deuteromycetes? Okay, they are saying not a feature. So Deuteromycetes, they are known as fungi imperfecta or imperfect fungi. Why they are known as imperfect fungi? Yes, what are the options? They have septate and branched mycelium. Second is reproduction via conidia. Third is sexual reproduction structures. Sexual reproduction structures are well defined. Fourth is include decomposers of the litter. What will be the correct answer? Okay, answer will be here. Let's have a look at the answer. Answer here will be option number C. Sexual reproductive structures are well defined. So this is not a characteristic feature of Deuteromycetes because in Deuteromycetes the sexual phase is not known. Only the sexual phase or the vegetative phase is known. As soon as the sexual phase is known, these fungi, they are either you can say placed in Ascomycetes or Basidiomycetes, and they are moved out of the Deuteromycetes. Yes, so answer will be option number C here. Here, so you can say, I can see here, there's one more option. You can write this also. This answer is also clear. So they have cenocytic mycelia, I think. Because the septate, they have not given this answer. You can write this formation of zygospore by isogamous. This is also a feature of Phycomycetes. Okay, the mycelia is also cenocytic, but this is also a feature of Phycomycetes, formation of zygospore by isogamous and anisogamous gametes. Clear? So with this, we end this session. I hope this session was quite knowledgeable for you. Thank you very much for listening.